Today's video is sponsored by Craftsy.
Hey guys, it's Dani. Today we are in the garden. Today's episode, we're gonna talk about orchids outside. Now my garden was really young. There was nothing here when I moved last year in August, and summer is very long here. So I actually had since about January up until now, or a month ago because it's hot again, to plant both trees and other plants. So the shade situation is not so good in my garden, hence why I didn't really have any orchids outside up until now. But I'm starting to experiment with a few orchids. I actually had a few orchids outside during winter and they did great. I'm gonna show them to you in the very few places where I have shade. I'm also putting a few more orchids outside, which I'm gonna show you, and talk a little bit about the plants that I have moving forward. Oh my gosh, it's so hot. We're not gonna make it a habit of filming outside. That's why I didn't even put makeup on, because it was just gonna melt off of my face. And by the way, if you happen to enjoy my garden, it is actually a rose garden. The most prolific plant that I have in my garden are roses, and I think they go so well visually with orchids, which I'm planning to put orchids in between roses as well. But roses are really not the easiest, I would say, plants. They're easy, but you have to know a few things about them. Luckily, there is a little bit of a cheat which you can find on Craftsy. Craftsy is an online community of creative, like-minded makers where members can find endless inspiration, advance their skills, and bring to life their creative dreams. With over 2,000 classes in more than 20 creative categories, there's always something new to learn. From sewing to quilting, knitting, cake decorating, crochet, arts or baking, and even gardening, which you can say it's my main focus right now, there is a class for everyone. An amazing class that is continuously transforming my garden on Craftsy is Paul Zimmerman's A Gardener's Guide to Growing Roses. He's my type of gardener, focused on common sense, a good logical and sustainable foundation to gardening, and most of all, no pesticides or other toxic chemicals in our gardens. I want to create a safe haven for life in my rose garden, a place where bees, butterflies, birds, and all sorts of other critters are safe to coexist with me and flourish before my eyes. Tough request when you want to plaster roses everywhere. We've all heard how finicky and difficult they are to keep healthy. Doesn't that remind you of orchids? Right. Challenge accepted. I will admit I failed with the roses before, but with proper knowledge on what roses are best to buy and how to care for them in a garden, I now have a garden that all of my neighbors admire when they pass by. And I'm not lying, they told me so. It made me realize my long life dream, and all because I applied the proper techniques, many of which came from Paul Zimmerman. Even in the heat, my rose garden looks like my very own fairy tale come to life. Paul's class on Craftsy is really all you need to build a strong foundation for your garden, even if you're not gonna grow 100 roses like me. The first 1,000 of you to click the link in the video description will get a full year of premium membership to Craftsy for only $1.49, valid for new members only. So join today and see what new skills you can learn. Thank you all for supporting the people that support my channel. Let me show you a few things that I've done so far. Righty, so these are a few orchids that I've actually had outside for, I would say, almost a year now. These are my Vendacious orchids, some of the few Vanda orchids that I still have, but you know what? I might get more because things have worked beautifully. Let me arrange a little bit the settings. It's very bright, you guys, so I'm doing my best, but right now it's a little sunny in this area. This is actually right in front of my kitchen. I've actually moved to the gazebo here from the sunshine because we discovered we stay here more. So we brought the little couches and everything, we brought them here, and it's actually a little bit better because this area became a lot shadier. So I'm also growing a hydrangea here, but most importantly, the orchids. So I've had these orchids here where it's actually shady for most of the day, except for a few hours in the morning, and they've done great. You can see this little Vanda here is blooming. Who is this one? Oh, this is the one that I actually didn't know what it was for the longest time. I'll put the tag on the screen. I forgot the name again. It's one of those Aretas and Wrinkle Stylus hybrids. It's very, very pretty. when it blooms, and most importantly, it stays small, which is the type of vanda that I like. Here is my oldest vanda, and I think maybe at this point my oldest orchid in my collection. I purchased this in 2013 and she is still around. She had a flower spike there. She's not in bloom anymore, but she blooms regularly. I have no issue with this orchid, and as you can see, they both look amazing. These two are related. Now this is a Neo-Phoenicia crossed with a vanda. Neostylus Lucenary Bluebird. She didn't bloom yet, but she did have blooms in the past. And again, this one was sitting here in the winter time and also now in the summer, and she's actually doing great. Now, these are some of the few protected spaces that I have, both in winter and in the summertime, so that's why I could keep these orchids alive. But I'm hoping to gain more shaded areas for the Cattleyas, because I think Cattleyas will do great outside as well. These being Vendacious orchids, they do really handle heat like nothing else. They don't even have sunburn because they've been here for a long time, so they actually adapted to this particular location. If I were to put my Cattleyas outside right now, they might actually burn, so I have to keep them shaded for a little bit. But I'm planning to create more and more shady places for my orchids, and I'm going to show you a few of these places, but for now, I only have a handful of places. So we're actually going to stick in this gazebo area, and I'll show you what else I just put outside. Now, as I was saying, we moved the gazebo here. Now, this gazebo is just an aluminum like frame with a tarp. We're planning to actually put aluminum bars in the future when the tarp eventually gets scorched by the sun. So far, it's still holding on strong, amazingly enough. But when it's done, you know, we're gonna do something else about it. But for now, because it's creating this dapply kind of shade, it still lets light through, I decided it would be a great idea to adorn this gazebo with some orchids. And what better orchids than the very heat-loving Cattleyas. Now, here I have a sort of a specimen. This is the orchid that I want to keep as a specimen. This is Brasso Cattleya Amethyst. It is one of the most beautiful Brassavola hybrids that I own. I have it for a lot of years and it's always blooming so beautifully. It's also fragrant at night. I do have buds now there, and I've kept it in my hallway because it actually didn't really fit properly in the grow room, and it just, you know, didn't look right. It didn't have the correct light. If I moved it away from the shelves, it didn't fit in the shelves. So I had it in my hallway all winter long. It didn't receive very good sun because, you know, the sun moved to a different area. Now it kind of receives good sun in the afternoon only, but these types of orchids really thrive outdoors in the heat as long as they're not scorched by the sun. And here she doesn't really have sun, only a few like moments in the morning there is a little bit of sun, but this orchid, being a Brassavola hybrid, doesn't really need super bright light. The brighter the better, but it doesn't require the same amount as a fluffy flowered Cattleya, let's say. And I think she will just do great here. Now, I chose to hang it in this macrame hanger that I've had for a few years because she has this pendant attitude, quote unquote. But can you just imagine when it's you know, gonna benefit more from the outside world and the beautiful sunshine, how the blooms, which are pendant as well, how they're gonna look like and how beautiful this area will smell like in the nighttime. Can you just imagine? This is my hope for it. I'm hoping it will put out tons of blooms because let's face it, right now, you know, 2 little flowers there for the size of this orchid, it's not okay. It's very subpar for its capabilities, and that's only because of light. I could not give it the proper amounts of light, and I'm hoping putting it here will make the difference. Also here I have my beautiful Maxillaria Tennopia, which again is a sun-loving plant. You can see it has a little bit of sun now, but the sun will move very fast. There is shadow starting here already, so in about 20 minutes this orchid will be in complete shadow, which is absolutely fine. She can actually handle early sunshine. It's okay, no big deal. It's the noon and afternoon sun that kills it. But this is a beautiful orchid that again has this grassy tendency, pendant tendency, which you know, it's hard to accommodate a little bit in a home. So even if just in the summer, I would love to keep this orchid outside, spring and summer. We'll see how it handles winter. The Brasso, I think she will handle it very, very well. But this one, I'm not sure. I'm gonna test it. We're gonna see. But for now, at least spring, autumn, and summer, of course, she's gonna be outside. She's gonna perfume this area with her beautiful coconut smell. All I need to do is make sure I water it in time because this is a very, very thirsty little orchid. But I think she will be amazing. And here on another leg of the gazebo, I have my other Maxillaria Tennopia type orchid. This is a hybrid. I'm gonna put the entire name on the screen. Actually, I have the tag here. This is Maxillaria Moria Ben Berliner. It's variabilis cross Tennopia. Now for me, this one is a yellow version of the Tennopia. It smells the same, it looks the same, but it's yellow. And also it has a little bit thicker leaves, as you can see, but it has the same tendency of actually spilling over, being pendant, and just looking nice hanging. So for this gazebo, I think I will go for orchids that tend to like to be pendant like this. I have another leg of the gazebo, but I need to go back to the old greenhouse and get more of these macrame hangers because I don't have all of them here. That's the only problem. I just had these three, so I used them, but I need to go back and get more. So again, these two, the Maxillaria and this one, have a blooming period in the springtime. So I can definitely put them here in very early spring or even late winter, maybe even keep them outdoors all the time, we're gonna see. And in the springtime, they're gonna have about a 3 weeks or so period or even more of blooming and perfuming this area like coconuts. And isn't that great? Now, speaking of the Maxillaria Tennopia, I have good news for you guys. I saw it in the flower shops. Oh my goodness, I have a picture if you don't believe me. It's in the flower shops and it's marketed as the coconut orchid or something like this. Yeah, amazing. More and more beautiful fragrant orchids are making their way into the flower shops, which is fantastic. Now, I have another area where I can grow some orchids and I already have something there. Right now it's a little sunny. We're gonna see how that does, but it's another windowsill area, so I'm gonna show it to you now. This is the area. I'm not gonna spend too much time here because I'm in full sun right now. This is the windowsill of my kitchen, and typically I have what are these? Pelargoniums here, but you know what? I think my pendant dendrobiums can do well here as well. Now the sun is just, you know, going behind the house now. It's still a little sunny. I don't know how they will do here because they're not acclimated to this area. So I might move this one, but in the future I want to do something in this area as well. I'm not sure if now. Now I kind of shoved it into the shade and I have to leave this area because I am cooking. But yeah, this is another area where I can put stuff, but it's a bit sunny at the moment. Alright, so I'm filming this in a different day because I want to show you the trees without actually cooking. So these are my trees. They have grown a bit, you guys. Yay! Well, they're still not big enough to create shade, but my dream, at some point, when they create this beautiful canopy that actually shades something, what I want to do is indeed hang orchids like on the branches and have them under the canopy of the trees. Obviously, that's like the first place you think about when having orchids in the garden. You want to hang them on the trees, not like plant or attached to the trees. I don't want to keep them bare rooted or anything because I can't water them every 5 minutes, but in the pots hanging on the trees. It is not yet possible, but that is the dream, you guys. I mean, this is my lemon. It's growing. I'm so proud of him, but it's still not enough to create enough shade. Not even like, if let's say I put an orchid here, when the sun comes like behind me, it's gonna scorch it. The canopy is just not full enough yet. So this will be a long-term plan. I need to wait a little bit for this to happen. Now the lemon is the biggest tree that I have. The orange looks even barer. This one had a little bit of a issue with the low temperatures, the absurd low temperatures in winter that we had. It was just a fluke, and it lost some branches, but now it's creating more foliage. But this one shades absolutely nothing. It shades like a little bark piece on the floor, and that's about it. So this one, it's gonna have to wait even longer. And the pomelo, which is my favorite, look at him, he's still growing. He's still growing, even though yes, he's very bushy.
has very big leaves, and he will be a good tree for hanging some orchids in. He's still not big enough, but we're working on it. Definitely, we have new growth still, and yeah, we're continuously growing, which is fantastic. Righty, so let's not transform this video into a tree video, but yeah, I wanted to explain a bit the situation with the shade in my garden. We're not there yet, but slowly and surely the orchids will start to populate the garden as well. I just need to be careful and be patient, pretty much. And just to give you a little bit of a look-see at my garden, if you're not subscribed to my gardening channel, which you should be if you didn't know it existed, I'll put it down below in the description. This is how they're doing. Everybody's doing so well. I'm gonna make a video soon with some features and stuff that I'm arranging. Oh, in my garden, they're here. The sparrows are here. Look at them. Oh my goodness. And you know why they're here? Because I made a bird bath. Look at that, and they want to come here and have water. So I'm gonna go away, let them have water. But yeah, this is how my garden is looking. It's amazing, and the roses are still blooming even in the summer. It's amazing. I love it so much. Oof, righty, so let's end this video here. I am so hot right now, but I really wanted to show you a little bit of my outdoors area as well. I have more of my garden on my gardening channel. As I said, I will link you to it down below. The roses, which are I believe my second flower type passion besides orchids, they're doing so well. So I'm so happy, and I'm really happy that I got the right advice with the rose. I did it right from the get-go. And if you visit Craftsy and you see that class from Mr. Zimmerman, you will see what I mean. That's identically what I did as well. I worked with the soil. I did everything great to have success long-term. I planned for long-term, and I'm so happy that there is this information out there. My garden makes me so happy, and I want to incorporate the orchids with the roses and everything else. And yeah, fingers crossed everything will do okay in the summer, because I'm starting not to do okay. So I'm gonna go inside now. The orchids will be okay in the heat. Don't you worry about them. I've had them outside before, and it's absolutely fine. As long as they're not in the sun, they're okay. But I'm not so okay. So I'm gonna go inside. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. Let me know if you're growing orchids outside and what orchids do great for you outdoors, so I can try them as well. And with that said, thank you Craftsy for sponsoring this video, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!